People of Gotham City,
a man of few words, but those words will count.
6 new deaths, with no clues as to the Joker's deadly weapon.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
You must be joking.
Do I look like I'm joking?
No, you don't look like you're joking. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of UPRE. We're going into the Batman franchise. I'm excited because we're leading up into the Batman, which is starring some Twilight bum. So we get to see some real Batmans before we get into that. But in the meantime, I got some co-hosts. We're going to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching UPRE. Bam, we're back. Executive Consultant Vic, Mike Knox, and Storm 59. Wow, I feel like I'm in a Star Trek battle with that name. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about Batman, 1989, Tim Burton's, Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, Billy D. Williams. You name that person. That person said, I want some of that money. And this movie made a lot of money back in 1989. I remember this is one of the first movies I saw in the theater when I was a young lad. And I'm glad to sit here and talk about it. I'm glad we got some folks over here to join me. Vic, what's going on?
Fantastic. This is a nostalgia trip, ladies and gentlemen. I recommend rewatching this movie more than anything for the Joker. I love it. Anyway, before I start rambling, that's all I got to say right now because I can get into it already.
Nice. Mike Knox, welcome to the show. I mean, I know it's a bit of a change from One Tree Hill. You know what I'm saying? You went from, that little gushy stuff to the man stuff right here. Batman, I like your background.
This from a guy who watches General Hospital.
Don't do that.
And
Don't do that. Don't do that. And I don't watch the Restless. I watch Days on Live. So you're right.
Okay, but the point making, you can't make fun of one for the other. Anywho, young lad that which you were. This is the first movie that I actually got a chance to actually go see multiple times in the theater. I'm talking about maybe 6 times I paid for it this time. I mean, every weekend I was going to McDade Mall to go watch this film. Simply amazing. A little tidbit note that the end scene at the church where they had the big fight scene was filmed at BVM Catholic School, which was located in Darby, VA, where I lived at. I'll never forget when they were there for the one day they filmed that movie there, how they shut down the entire town for Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson coming through. Little fun fact about, my part of my life growing up like the Goldbergs, but I'm happy to be here.
Nice.
Storm 459, welcome aboard.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yes, I have actually.
I believe that for whatever reason. I definitely believe it.
My ex. Horrible time in my life.
That's why she's your ex, right? Because the pen was mightier than the sword.
The pen was mightier than never mind. I got so many jokes on that one. You are absolutely right. Mike Knox bringing a little of his rated XXX to UPR.
Right, that's part of that's the Joker's words. I just used his words.
Yeah, okay. Well, as long as you're not throwing it in somebody's throat, okay?
Oh my God. But definitely a good movie. I actually enjoyed Tim Burton Batman series. At least that and Batman Returns. Wasn't really a fan of the Val Kilmer Batman, but more on that later.
We'll talk about that in 2 weeks.
The executive consultant probably loved that one. So
Batman Forever. Spoiler alert: that is actually one of my favorite Batman movies.
See,
I love that.
No movie. One I know likes that movie.
I love that movie.
Wait,
that movie
you like Batman Forever? George Clooney Batman?
No, that's Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay.
Val Kilmer Batman. And it wasn't because of Val Kilmer, even though I think he's an underrated Batman.
The Joker, the Riddler was ill in that movie.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah,
but that's 2 weeks from now. Let's go ahead and talk about why Jack Nicholson, some people still consider him the definitive Joker in this movie. He was a gangster Joker. He started off as a gangster. He stole every scene he was in. Let's just be real. And he had just much like Heath Ledger, another spoiler alert, talking about Dark Knight later. He had, and I appreciate it more watching it now, even though I watch it at least once a year. He had so many lines in this movie from beginning to end. Even him flipping a card, he does so well. just a fantastic actor in this movie, and it ages well, even though it doesn't age well. Does anybody understand what I mean when I say that?
I would say it ages well, only because every Joker we ever seen on screen was a different version of the Joker. To me, Jack Nicholson was more the clown prince of crime, with all the crazy gadgets that he had and the punchlines. Like I found that as truly the clown prince of crime, unlike the future Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix. But I get what you mean by you say it aged well, but didn't age well as well, because the gags and all, it doesn't stand the test of time right now.
I mean, I agree and disagree, because at the time, a mob boss was way more respected. That was a thing. Like, people knew who mob bosses were. You know what I mean? John Gotti being on the news was a thing. Whoever mob bosses are now, if the mobs exist, phones took the mobs away. So, like, but at the time, that was a thing. And the way that this Joker, like, he comes across as a Martin Scorsese, you know what I mean? Like, he just comes across so badass as this Joker. It's not even funny. Like, I mean, honestly, you know how they revamping everything now? If Jack Nicholson were to just come out of nowhere and do some Batman Beyond the stuff with Michael Keaton, and then there's like a Batman, a young Bat. Anyway, I'm talking too much.
I would love to see that.
All I'm saying is,
I'm a fan.
All I'm saying is that Jack Nicholson has to come out with the white face and the big smile, and he will get the biggest pop in the room. I'm sorry to use a wrestling reference, but all of you understand what I mean. So, like, yeah, man.
It'll be like Tobey Maguire coming out.
But but to get back to the point, because I'm rambling. The reason why it doesn't age well is because I don't think that a younger generation is necessarily gonna look at this Joker the same way. I'm actually curious to see somebody, like, their perspective of
that part right there. I think is the biggest misnomer about the entire conversation we've had thus far, and that was giving all the kudos in this movie to Jack Nicholson, which is taken away from the great role that Michael Keaton did play in this movie, the great role from what Kim Basinger played in this movie, Alfred. Played in this movie. This movie had a lot of great actors. As we started off the show with that in the first place, and I do think that this movie stands the test of time. This is your Spider-Man 2. This is your Superman 2. This is that movie that can continue to go with every generation, as long as you know what good writing. You can't change good writing.
Facts.
Right? So
no, you can't.
The corniness that you may see in the special effects, like I myself rewatched it today as well, and you see every time Michael Keaton went to go make a Batman move, they zoomed in on whatever he was doing, right? As opposed to even looking in the Batcave when they were watching the big mirror, I'm like, damn, look at all these damn,
old school cameras,
TVs and stuff, right? And so things like that won't age, but the story in itself, Tim Burton in itself, my only gripe after watching this movie probably 150 times, and I'm going to say it's a gripe, but I guess I nitpick at how we've evolved as moviegoers and everything, is I see Beetlejuice when I see Batman sometimes. And that's why there's faces that he makes, and I'm like, that's Beetlejuice.
Facts. That is true. I agree.
Forgot all about Beetlejuice.
I saw Batman before Beetlejuice. It's hard for me. I see it reverse.
That stuff came out around the same time. So, like, yeah.
Beetlejuice came out first.
Right, yeah. Beetlejuice came out first, but I saw Batman before.
No, but what I mean is, like, not far. Like, it was like a couple of years, no?
And ironically, so he's playing in this year. He's playing Batman and Beetlejuice again. In 2022, he's playing both of these roles again.
I didn't know they were remaking Beetlejuice. I didn't know that. I hear a lot of things, but I hear that.
I mean, no, that's a big thing. I mean, it's still on Broadway.
But they did say they're bringing the sequel. I know they got greenlit for that. That's good to hear.
Yeah, they already made it. The trailer's out. Trailer came out last year. They've been like pushing it back because of COVID, but
aren't they also doing like a cartoon again with that?
I
I
probably
mean, that Beetlejuice is a big thing. I'm surprised they never made a sequel. Anyway, why are we talking Beetlejuice?
because
Hey,
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Michael
hey,
Keaton, who has done a great job. Looking forward to it. I mean, people have been clamoring for Michael Keaton. He's still a lot of people's favorite Batman. And if you don't understand why, watch this movie again. And I say again because I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, David, then shame on you. But watch this movie again, and you will understand why he was. And he got a lot of hate. I read about it. I didn't know about
very
it.
impactful.
He got a lot of hate when he was casted as Batman because people thought he was short, and you can see it.
Yeah,
you can see it.
yeah.
But they did it very well to try to make up for the fact that he was short. Just like you can watch it now, you can see where he could not move his neck. Right, that was a later joke in The Dark Knight, but he could not move his neck in the movie. It was everything was just so stiff
because of the Batman's, because of the suit,
because of the bat suit. But it was very well done. He was very scary. I like the first scene with the two thugs and him beating their ass, and he's saying "I'm Batman," which is an iconic phrase even to this day.
Wasn't there a Super Bowl commercial with that? Where somebody got sacked, and then all of a sudden, there was like a Snickers commercial. All of a sudden, he got up and was just like, "I'm Batman." And then he started running around.
I don't remember that commercial, but that's a possibility. It wouldn't surprise me. Batman was arguably, I think it was like number 3 or 4 most biggest box office movies of all time before we hit these thing where like every week a different box office movie has to come out. It was like one of the highest grossing of all time for a while.
It really was.
And at the time, for a good decade, that was the only comic book movie they were willing to make because they thought Batman was the only one that could make money. You know, shout out to Blade and subsequently X-Men. And
that's not fully true.
Oh, really?
And no, not necessarily because Christopher Reeves made money.
True.
Yeah, the Superman franchise.
1 and 2, 3 lost money, 4 bombed, and that was 4 came out in 1987.
3 they tried to switch it around by adding in comedy, by adding Richard Pryor.
Correct.
4, for what it's worth, I think it's a fan favorite, not like the best of the series, but I don't think fans actually hated it. 3 was pretty bad. I saw 3 in the Dollar Theater in Yaten movie theater.
4 they hated so much they said never mind, we're not going to do it anymore, and that's what I mean because 4 came out in 1987. They didn't make another Superman movie until 2006. See what I'm saying? Batman came out in 1989, and then named the next comic book movie.
Well, again, you're looking at what that movie in detailed as far as people in it. Also. I think that lent a lot to it as far as the actors and actresses that leaned themselves to doing that movie. But great film. I mean, all around. A soundtrack that how they getting speaked of when movie soundtracks were like the backdrop to a movie. It actually would tell you how good a movie was depending on the artist or artists that did it. And Prince did the whole entire soundtrack himself and wanted to do the soundtrack himself. And I'm someone who's not even the biggest Prince fan at that time. Like I think everybody, I love Prince music, but I'm more of a Michael Jackson guy. But hear this soundtrack and just go ape shit for hearing Prince do his thing on this soundtrack. So I just think
you have a favorite song from that soundtrack or from the movie?
Jeez, put me in the spot. Why don't you?
Yes.
I'm trying to get it out of my head. I was trying to say it as you were out to ask me. I kind of knew that. The scene when he's walking actually into the art gallery.
Got a lot of people love that.
You know,
that was a really good song.
It just stands out to me a lot in that part.
Sorry, I gotta look it up. I can't remember the name of the song now. I said Google Prince.
It was Batman 1989 soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm going even further. Party Man. Party Man.
That's the name of the soundtrack, Party Man?
That's the name of the song. When he's in the thing. Yeah, Party Man.
Okay.
Party Man. Really? Nobody knows that? Y'all suck. Y'all terrible.
King in town.
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
I was trying to get it.
I don't know who the hell that was like 30 seconds ago.
I couldn't think of it, and it was driving me bonkers. So
we just watched it this day. That's the
and I literally because
Baker's still watching it. So that's why it's amazing. It's amazing. Mine is actually the scene where he's at the parade and he does trust. I love that scene. Actually, I've always that's one of my favorite scenes.
I didn't get to it yet, but the one with all the balloons. Yes.
Yeah, that's why you just got.
Yes.
He stole my balloons.
That is popping.
Yeah,
I love it. I can't wait to get to
He
that.
didn't tell me he had those.
The facts.
Those were mine.
Why did anybody tell me he had one of those?
Anybody tell me he had one of those?
Mm-hmm. That was great. That was great. I mean, my favorite thing in this, honestly, because I've been partial to the Alfred from Gotham for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I love this Alfred. I really do. This
This
has
Alfred
got to
lasted a lot of movies, didn't he?
yeah. This has
Four.
got to be. I mean, I forgot about
I
this
think
Alfred,
3.
Four.
but
He lasted all 4.
yeah, this is
Yeah, he
this
made
is
it to Batman and Robin.
like, mind you, like the way this guy portrays Alfred is really really good.
There hasn't been a bad Alfred.
Yeah, they really had. I mean, just that. I actually I'm looking forward to if they do it, the Pennyworth show. But
The Pennyworth. What do you mean for him? What they're gonna do with him when they get to that stage?
no, I mean no. Like you know how Gotham is finished.
Yeah.
They're apparently gonna do a show about Alfred, like in his past.
Well, no, they
Right.
have Pennyworth. It's a show already.
Right.
Oh, they
That's the
already
show
did.
you're talking
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
in
even know
season 3. That's why I was going off a little bit.
that. Yo, I didn't know that. Thank you.
HBO Max.
Thank you.
But it was an epic show. So it came on Epics. It started the same year that Godfather Harlem started.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, there's
I didn't
so
know
many
that.
shows.
Gotham was a good
It's
show,
hard-
very underrated.
It is
Very
hard to
underrated.
keep up. There's so
Gotham is
many
probably
shows.
one of the best TV shows ever made.
I agree.
But I would say
The
from
only
season
problem
2
with
on,
Gotham is just this season 2, because season 1 was a very
season
slow
1
burn.
was very, very hard to watch.
It was a slow
I
burn.
don't think so. I don't
Um,
think it was so hard to watch. I think whose character? I thought
Jada
somebody's character
Pinkett.
was.
Well,
thought
I
her
hate
character was
Pinkett.
great.
Listen, I still hate Fish's
So-
character in that
Stole
TV
the
show.
show.
I hate her
Mooney.
character in that show
Fish
until
Mooney?
she
Really?
until she came back.
Mhm.
You know, after she was gone for a while, I couldn't
Mhm.
stand her role in the show. I didn't like her acting as Fish Mooney.
Mm.
And I think it was hard to watch season 1 also. I think it was more or less it was different. And you know, you go in here, you know, you think you know something, but you have to get to know what the writers want you to know about this particular show. And so watching Barbara be how Barbara was, you know what I mean? Things like that. I think that kind of aided to the slow burn of the show, was getting to know these characters differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then once you got to know them, I mean, hell, I remember saying to myself, am I a good parent for letting my kids watch Gotham during that Mad Hatter scene when he had all the wedding people around the circle,
Yeah,
and he
that
dropped
was
the,
a
and he dropped
nutty
it,
scene.
and my kids just start screaming, "It's a wrecking ball!" You know, as he's killing folks, my kids are screaming "wrecking ball." I'm just like, okay, but yeah, but all these, because of this movie, and with all, you know, to the credit, I will never not give Batman any credit over Superman. I will never do that. But to Batman and to this film franchise, they did open the bar for a lot of other, you know, afraid of Hollywood to touch any other kind of comic book, because these were done so well. And when Schumacher took over, I think that killed the series.
Definitely, I would definitely. It definitely opened the door for a lot, especially when it comes to the form of media from the movies. Because from the movies we got the animated series, and the animated series gave us Harley Quinn and like a whole revamp of Mr. Freeze. Because the Mr. Freeze we have today was never the Mr. Freeze that was originally in the original Detective comic.
Shout out to that, because that franchise, that series, so to speak, still is going strong today. Like all that is going from Batman animated series. You know, all these Batman animated movies, because they come out with at least once a year. They come out with Batman animated series. I mean, a Batman animated movie. It's all because of Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which I thought about reviewing because I really like that one. So,
you know what? DC's Batman animated movies have been all amazing. My favorite will always be Under the Red Hood. I don't know why.
Love that.
I loved Under the Red Hood.
Under the Red Hood was good.
The return of the Joker.
Return of the Joker. Batman Beyond. That was still very
that plot and
was amazing.
And then when he talked, the way the Joker talks with the little rhyme, well, if it's a whooping you are wanting, it's just something about how that I thought it was so devious that he put himself in a chip. You know what I mean? And was effing with Robin that entire. I thought it was just so diabolical.
My favorite scene of that movie, and then we'll get back to the real movie we're reviewing. But my favorite scene of that movie definitely is the flashback scene.
Mm-hmm.
Where
watching him so-called whoop his ass. Yeah.
No. Well, no, that was when he was torturing. When he said if it's a whooping you want, is when he was actually fighting Batman at the end, in the end scene. I remember that. I've seen that movie so many times.
Love that movie.
I love that movie.
But definitely shout out to Tim Burton's Batman, because it opened the door, and we've got so much out of it even to this day. Like for me, I'm part of the younger generation, but I've read the original Detective Comics where Batman came from, so to actually see it all come together live, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It was good. It was definitely a great movie, a great time. So many quotes. I'm a big quote guy. I'm a quote guy. I'm a quote guy.
You
Right?
know what? Watching this back.
Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. Say the.
But
quote.
no, because I'm a quote guy, and I can like go almost all. Like I remember playing Grand Theft Auto, right? GTA's been out for like what 29 years, right? So when the first year it came out, I used to play it like crazy, like every day. It was myself and my roommates. This is back when I lived in the DC area, and we were riding in a helicopter together to kill some people. And we're on a headset. Even though we live in the same place, but we're in the headset, and I'm in the helicopter, and I'm not paying attention. And then he jumped out without me paying attention, and he put a bomb in the helicopter to kill me. And I'm like, "You mofo! Why the hell would you do something like that?" Right? And then when he would have killed me because I didn't realize it was happening until he made some kind of comment. He said, "And I'm glad you're dead." Right? And laughed about it. And I always, because it's from the Joker scene where he was talking to the corpse after he electrocuted him. It was just always funny. So anytime I see that scene, I always remember being blown up in a helicopter. It's a very, very good scene. And have you ever danced with a devil in the pale moonlight? So I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's go ahead. We're going to talk about final thoughts. But first, find out what we're reviewing on Thursday. Find out what we're reviewing on Tuesday. Next Tuesday. Remember, Thursday, we're starting our Woman Badass Month. So that should be an interesting movie. It's going to be this guy's pick.
You picked Women's Month during Black History? Just saying.
Talk to E.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked we're not doing any Sidney Poitier movies. But
talk to E. She's in charge. All right. C said we should do this. E said no. So whatever. That's what happens when you let the two women in charge. All right. Stay with us. We're watching a popular review.
Thelma.
I'll get it. What?
Louise.
Yeah, I still have to ask Daryl if I can go. You mean you haven't asked him yet?
Thelma and Louise are going to catch hell.
I'll have a wild turkey straight up and a Coke back, please.
Thelma?
Oh, what? Tell me something. Is this my vacation or isn't it?
Thelma and Louise.
all right.
I've been down here too long. It's time for me to ascend.
From the sewers of Gotham, a new villain emerges.
You didn't invite me, so I crashed.
From the rooftops of Gotham, the perfect enemy comes to life.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
And the only one who can save this city is a creature of the night.
My dear penguins, thanks to Batman, the time has come to punish all of Gotham!
That was the hottest one.
I actually like Batman Returns. Yes.
That was the hottest one. That's the hottest
enjoyed
one.
that.
Danny DeVito, man, I'm telling you, that guy's.
I enjoyed that movie from opening scene to the very end. Like it's one of the very few movies that you can put multiple villains in and get it right.
Yeah.
And kudos to Tim Burton for doing that.
I will say that Danny DeVito, there's never been a better Penguin, and I will say with Michelle Pfeiffer, there's never been a better Catwoman, in my opinion. So I
agree.
would give the movie that.
I think my girl from Batman Begins or Dark Knight, what's her name?
Anne Hathaway?
Anne Hathaway is my favorite Catwoman.
I think she did a good job. Don't get me wrong. I think she did a great job.
Other than like Eartha Kitt, because I used to watch the Paying Pal.
Oh.
I watched those with my uncle when I was growing up. So
Eartha Kitt sounded like a cat.
Other than Eartha Kitt, her purring and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I love Anne Hathaway's Batwoman. I mean, Catwoman was just magnificent to me in every way possible as far as how it was played. I think with these movies, and I think with this movie that was talking about Batman, the first one, is today we have an issue of always comparing, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think I don't like to do that in a sense of this movie is just great in every way. The soundtrack was great, the acting was great, the storyline was great. The only thing, if you're a comic book person, you can kind of mess with how his parents lost and it looked like they didn't have no money at the time. You know what I mean? Because they were definitely in the wrong city. You know what I mean? That part I didn't quite get. And how they explained Wayne, but how the Joker how he goes to the batch and I'm melting, and it just top to bottom, I thought this movie was just phenomenal. I thought there was nothing you could take out of this movie. Like even to this day, he's my favorite, overall, Batman in itself. Because I just thought, but does it grow? You asked earlier, right? Does it age well? Well, when looking at other acting and seeing other movies, I think he's been outdone as Batman, where I don't think, as much as everybody loves Heath Ledger's Joker, Jack Nicholson wasn't outdone. It was just another Joker that was very good. Mm-hmm. And I think when you look at things in that manner, I think that's why it'll last.
I mean, I give it the fact, I say it's two different Jokers. Like Heath Ledger's Joker wasn't really more punchline or joke telling type of guy. He was a lot more serious, and he seemed like he was a man on a mission. Like you robbed the bank of all the money just to blow it up. Like he was trying to make a statement. Yeah. So it's two. I will never say Heath Ledger was a better Joker than Jack Nicholson, but Heath Ledger played his Joker very, very well. Just like for me, Jack Nicholson's always going to be my favorite. It's just because of the punchlines. The guy just everything about Jack Nicholson's Joker I laughed at, and I'm just like, this is a Joker. I actually enjoy it, even to the point where he said my face on a dollar bill with that stupid grin on his face. Mm-hmm. Do you look like you joking? Yes, you do. It's hilarious to me. But I'll never take away from Heath Ledger. It's just the same thing with Batman. Like I may enjoy the Dark Knight series Batman, but it's two separate eras, two different times.
I'm one of the few Batfleck fans.
Really?
Yeah, he's my favorite Batman.
I feel like he played a great Bruce Wayne, but not a great Batman.
I feel that the Batman in which they were going for, as we talked about how with the Jokers were different, he's the Batman that you see in the DC animated films today. He's the older Batman who is out to murder because that's all he knows. And when he saw his wrongs, he realized that Superman was what people needed because he was too angry. And that's what he tried to portray, and that's why I loved his role. I thought he did it perfectly. And again, I was telling anybody, a person who has a bat cave in their house, you can't tell me he doesn't love Batman, and he didn't know what he was doing when he studied that role.
You know what? I agree.
The man has a bat cave in his house. Like,
I will say that the best Batman scene of any movie, in my opinion, came from Batfleck, and that was in Batman v Superman. Their warehouse saving scene for Martha.
Oh, for Mom, that scene is hands down. I love it as well. I was literally watching Justice League again today. I think it's one of the top 10 movies of all time. That Snyder cut, by the way.
The Snyder cut, yeah. The Snyder cut,
yes.
As my wife would say, he put his dick on the table when he went back and did that role. he just whipped it out and just he. I mean, granted, he had 5 years to make up for the mistake that came before it. You know what I'm saying? But he put his thing out and did his thing.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. I hope they do that because the end of the end of Justice League and the Snyder Cut, you have to continue that storyline. Like, don't. But
they're not. They've already.
They're not.
It's already been confirmed that these guys are being replaced and everything else. It's a shame.
That makes no sense. Let's go ahead and talk. Let's talk about our final thoughts. Vic, we'll start with you. Thumbs up, thumbs down for this movie.
So now, when it comes to this movie, one thing that I've known that at least I realized, and because what I remember is this movie had a very, very, very high impact, to the point where there is a ride made, and the ride is still there, the Batman ride in Great Adventure, and that became a huge thing. Now, the other thing that I noticed is this: like, I feel like Jack Nicholson paved the way for every Joker to be their own Joker. Number one, with his name, because I mean the name of the mobster was just a play on Jack Nicholson's name. Therefore, nobody else was gonna take that name of Jack Napier. So, like, I feel like he the only thing that he pretty much copied the previous Joker in, and that is like the Joker from
Adam West.
Yeah.
Adam West Batman.
Yeah, so from Adam West, because the thing is, I feel like this movie was the first introduction to the nation of the Dark Knight, because previous to that, what we had was Batman, pow, kick, zoom. You know what I mean?
Batman.
So, like, and that's why I think that this Batman, at the time, was incredibly impactful, but also I feel like it paved the way for everything else. Because the other thing is that a lot of this coincides with the cartoon that was going on at the time. And if you watch the animated series, mind you, watching back 90s cartoons, they're way more like adult than
Grim,
come out now.
grim, dark, everything.
They're way more like X-Men, X-Men, that Batman animated series. So a lot of this stuff came from that. So this movie was very, very, very impactful at the time, which is another reason why I think it's not necessarily going to age well, because it's not going to hit the same. You know what I mean? It really hit, and it hit hard. And mind you, the Batman ride is still one of the scariest rides in Great Adventure. Why? Because you stand it. So yeah, and when that came out, oof, everybody was shaking in their boots, and we had to stand in line for 2 hours. I hated that. But anyway, I digress. Thumbs up.
Yeah, you definitely digress, but good job, David. That's thumbs up, thumbs down. This man went the whole thing. Mike Knox, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
All the way.
All right. Storm 459.
I love a lot of Tim Burton's movies and everything that he writes. This movie definitely paved the way for everything I enjoy about Batman today. So, yeah, thumbs up. Big time. Double thumbs up.
Tim Burton, I thought, had really good movies, but one popular Tim Burton movie that I wasn't a fan of was Nightmare Before Christmas. I really was not.
Really?
Couldn't stand that one. But
I didn't like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't like that one either. I thought I was gonna like it. That shit was boring, right? That's not my type of movie. Glad he mentioned Ben Affleck. Completely agree with you with the comparisons thing, because in my opinion, I've never seen. Well, I have seen one. I've never seen a bad Joker. Right, and that's such a tough character to play. But I think Jack Nicholson did a good job. I think Heath Ledger did a good job. I think Cesar Romero did a good job for his time. So I would never say compare. I would say more. And Jeff actually made it make sense too, because
Jared Leto was a bad Joker.
Of Joker.
Hold on, I disagree with that 100%.
I like Jared Leto.
I think Jared Leto gets a horrible rap because of Heath Ledger's role playing Joker, and it's completely unfair. Mm-hmm. I think I watch all the animated cartoons. Every last one of them that comes out. He is the Joker again that they were putting in movies. He was the gangster Joker.
Yeah, he was the true gangster.
He's only you can only play a role that they give you the play. And if you don't play what they give you to play well, then that's one thing. But what they gave him to work with, I thought he. That's why everybody loved his epilogue scene and Snyder's cut, because that epilogue scene spoke volumes to what that Joker could have been when put in the right hands.
See, I want to disagree when you say he's getting a bad rap because he was following Heath Ledger's performance. Because if that was the case, like Joaquin Phoenix came right after Jared Leto and did an amazing job.
Well, that's a complete that's unfair. So
with his interpretation of Joker.
Well, that's unfair because technically he's not the Joker. He's Arthur Fleck. So he never played the Joker.
Thank you. I completely agree.
He's becoming the Joker.
He was the one that said did not play the Joker. He didn't play the Joker.
He didn't play the Joker. He played Arthur Fleck. And that's where people have to separate that from. He didn't play the Joker. We don't know who the Joker is.
Somebody who looked like he just had a bad day, needed a hug, and he would have been perfectly fine.
I love the movie. I thought it was phenomenal how they mind tricked everybody. To even people to this day thinking, well, was he really imagining these things? No, he wasn't imagining. They told you the parts he was imagining because they give you flashbacks. But my final thoughts, and I need we're getting to that, because I want to move you along so we can tell on the program, is you open up with saying something I think is just horrible as a moviegoer. This Batman will be the movie of the year that's coming out. And if everybody want to continue to hold him under the fire for a role he played, like a wrestler plays a script on television, or somebody play a role in a movie by how he did in Twilight, then they don't watch movies. Because this man has been nominated for Oscars since playing Twilight. And if you get that out there, this Batman, it's so good that what's my man Irons says it's probably one of the best movies he's ever been in. If you know who that is, that's Claw from Black Panther. Okay, and he's also, I mean, I know that he's Alfred in this movie, but when you get kudos from those kind of actors for this kind of movie and what he's going to roll, I think you're going to be highly surprised. And if you just like they say, oh my God, we're going to get a Brokeback Joker. Look how that came out.
Like I gotta see when it comes to this new Batman, because just off the trailers alone, Batman's portrayal is just like, I don't know, I just don't feel it from him. Like, even Batfleck, it's like, all right, I could see why. To me, Batfleck played a great Bruce Wayne. Batman, not give or take, I mean, but okay. You know what I'm saying? It feels
very emo.
A very, very emo. Like even the scene where they showed him
It feels
Beating
like
the crap out of
Twilight.
somebody.
It feels
Like,
like Batman's going to come out of glitter in the sun, and I don't want to see that. That's what I'm
I
So you may not like it, but I'm still going to say I am never going to forgive him for making Twilight.
Accountable for playing a movie that he's an actor who took a role in Hollywood.
Somebody needs to hold him accountable, and I'm
why? Nobody's holding Harry Potter and Rattlers and them from their early portrayals.
I am holding them accountable too.
No one holds Leo DiCaprio for his role on Growing Pains.
We're not going to hold him accountable. You're not going to do that to Leo. We're not going to do that to Leo.
No one does the same thing to Johnny Depp. No one does the same thing to Cooney on Roseanne. I'm a TV watcher, and I think people need to stop tripping.
I will never ever forgive Robert Pattinson for making Twilight, and he does not deserve to be one of my favorite characters. This movie right here gets a thumbs up.
That's where the worst things ever heard. In my life.
I mean, Twilight.
You must not have heard a lot of things.
I get it. Twilight was terrible.
And if I'm a movie fan, it actually wasn't. It's a terrible acted movie, and if you watch the movie Vampire Sucks, you'll see where that movie is one of the best spoofs of all time. Because
Vampire Sucks was like a scary movie for that, right?
Yeah, it's one of the funniest spoofs I've ever seen because the girl played just like Kristen Stewart played the role. But
I did see that movie. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. Thank you so much for watching us. Please make sure you join us on Thursday at 9:30. Who never knows? 9:30 when we talk about Thelma and Louise, which this is the first time I'm actually going to see this movie. Thank you so much, Vic, for making me suffer through this.
Oh, I love
it. It's actually a great movie, though.
Yeah, I like hearing good things about it. That's why I picked it. But
we're beginning our month of badass women in this movie. I picked.
Y'all don't start off with Set It Off.
Vic has the first pick. Vic has the first pick.
Well, y'all start off with Set It Off, or that female wrestling joint.
Next movie is I forgot what she picked.
Female wrestling joint.
I mean, I can say wrestling. Western.
I picked the call. And C picked. I think she picked.
I remember I saw you pick The Call. That's a horrible fucking film.
Yeah, well, you know what? You think Robert Pattinson's going to be a good Batman. And then
I don't think so. I know so.
I know so.
Fourth one is not Unforgiven. What's the movie with the vampire and the lichens?
You're talking about
Underworld.
Underworld, yeah.
That was C the Superior's pick. So that will be the last Thursday of the month. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. We'll see you next time. This is the Executive Consultant joined by Vic, Mike Knox, Storm 459. Thursday, Thelma and Louise. Next Tuesday, Batman Returns. We'll see you next time right here for Unpopular Review.